Okay. All right, chapter 25, the endocrine system. Okay. So the nervous system, which we talked about last time, is really fast. Okay. It works on a level of milliseconds. Okay. Uh, the endocrine system effects are slower, but it's not instantaneous, it's longer lasting. Okay. So like hormone treatments last for minutes to hours to days to weeks, actually. Okay. Okay. So the endocrine system consists of glands which make the hormones and the hormones which actually causes the changes in the human body. Okay. So a hormone is a biochemical that travels in the human body in the bloodstream, etc. Okay. Okay. So this will skip, the different tissues will skip. Okay. Hormones can have really powerful effects. Okay. Hormones affect mood, emotions, feelings of sexual attraction, developmental patterns, as well as puberty and metamorphosis. Obviously, not in humans, right? But in other animals, a dysone is responsible for changing a caterpillar into a butterfly, and then their growth hormones are responsible for turning tadpoles into full-fledged frogs and stuff like that. So, okay. And because they have so much control, the hormone levels themselves are very tightly regulated. And so you can too much or too little of any hormone can cause damage. Okay. And so what we have are feedback loops that constantly measure the level of hormone that you have and constantly adjust. So if there's too little, it'll add more. If there's too much, it'll stop producing it. So it'll eventually go down. And so these hormone levels are very tightly regulated in the bodies of humans and other animals. Okay. Okay. So hormones by definition use blood as a transport system. Okay. But not every hormone works on every single cell. So hormones only interact with cells that have their targets. Okay. So if you have a receptor, then you can react to that hormone. If you don't have the receptor to that hormone, then it doesn't matter if there's a bunch of hormone in there, you won't react with it. Okay. All right. So suppose a hormone is released in the pancreas, can alter metabolism in the liver. Okay. Which is the following is incorrect. Okay. The target cells are in the pancreas as incorrect. The target cells are in the liver. Right? All right. So hormones are classified based on their solubility. Some are soluble in water and some are soluble in lipid. And it differs how they actually function. Okay. Water-soluble hormones bind to receptors on the outside of the cell. Lipid-solid hormones, because they're lipid, they can cross the phospholipid bilayer and they can bind to target cells on the inside. Okay. Okay. Water-soluble hormones activate other proteins inside the cell. Okay. Um, so they act on the outside and then change things on the inside. This water-soluble hormones actually generates a very quick response. Okay. The response occurs on a level of seconds. The lipid-soluble hormones alter gene expression. Okay, they alter gene expression, and therefore that takes a little bit more time to actually have an effect. So usually we're talking hours. Okay, like maybe half an hour for effects to start, and maybe like hours for like full effect. Okay, because lipid soluble hormones they go into the cell, they go into the nucleus, and they change the gene transcription profile of the nucleus. And so new genes have to be made, old genes have to be turned off, etc., etc. That takes longer. Okay. 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 So liquids, water soluble hormones trigger um, proteins that are already there to do something. Hormone, lipid soluble hormones trigger new protein to be made. Okay. All right. So this one you just have to know. Okay. Okay. Um, okay. So the pituitary and hypothalamus overall see complete over endocrine control. Okay. Um, so okay. The hypothalamus regulates hormones that maintain homeostasis. Okay. And they control the pituitary gland. Okay. Negative feedback systems controlled by hypothalamus respond to current hormone levels and keeping the hormone levels steady. Okay, so thyroid gland levels can get too low or too high. If it gets too low, then the anterior pituitary, okay, sorry, if this is too high, this is too low. So if it's too high, then it stops production. If it's too low, then it increases production. Okay. Um, okay. The posterior pituitary can makes two hormones. One is oxytocin, and one is ADH or vasopressin. Okay, oxytocin stimulates injection of milk and also stimulates childbirth. Okay, ADH or antidiuretic hormone, against diuretic production of urine. Okay, ADH prevents urine formation. Okay, so you dehydrate it and you secrete ADH. ADH prevents urine production. Okay. All right. The anterior pituitary controls these 6 hormones. Okay. Okay. Um, endorphins. Endorphins, okay, are natural painkillers. Okay. A lot of drugs like morphine and stuff are fake endorphins. Okay. They react, or brain reacts the same way it reacts to endorphins. Okay. Okay. FSH and LH control sex drive and sex hormones and sexual and like secondary sex characteristics. Okay. ACTH stimulates the secretion of metabolic hormones from the outer portion of adrenal glands. Those hormones control long-term stress. Okay, Thyroid stimulating hormone increases metabolic hormone production at the thyroid gland. It controls thyroid gland production, okay, thyroid hormone production, okay? And then prolactin, pro in favor of milk, lactin, milk, okay? Growth hormone, growth and development, okay? So this is lack of growth hormone, this is too much growth hormone, okay? Okay, so doctors must remove part of this man's posterior pituitary. Remember, posterior pituitary produces oxytocin, okay, which for a man is not particularly useful. But two, antidiuretic hormone. Antidiuretic hormone stops urine from being made. So too much water will be lost in urine, okay? Okay, the thyroid gland produces thyroid hormone. Thyroid hormone, okay, increases metabolism. Okay, the parathyroid regulates calcium levels. Okay, the adrenal glands. Okay, okay. The adrenal medulla affects short-term stress. The adrenal cortex produces long-term stress, okay, or affects long-term stress. Okay, so the adrenal medulla, short-term stress, okay, the adrenal cortex, long-term stress. Okay, the pancreas regulates blood glucose through either insulin or glucagon. Okay, insulin lowers blood glucose levels, glucagon raises blood glucose levels. Okay, diabetes is when insulin fails. Okay, so type 1 and type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetics. Okay, there's no insulin being made, so you have to inject yourself with insulin. In type 2 diabetes, insulin is present, but it no longer works. Okay. Okay. The pineal gland secretes melatonin, a hormone that regulates sleep-wake cycles. Okay. Okay. So make sure you go through that. Okay. And then FSH and LH, they regulate the ovaries and testes. Okay. So progesterone regulates. Progesterone doesn't really have that much effect in men. Progesterone regulates the menstrual cycle and prepares the body for pregnancy, progestation. Okay. Estrogen regulates the menstrual cycle and also the secondary sex of females, so breasts, hips, and stuff like that. Okay. Testosterone regulates secondary sex characteristics in males. Okay. Okay. All right, that ends the recording.